Hello and welcome back to the next Akonzel stream.
Hi guys.
Yeah, as last week, today also a backend stream with less backend, I think, and more continuous integration. So we thought it would be nice to introduce how to set up GitHub Actions. And yeah, with that being said, let's directly jump into the code.
Yeah, as Timo said, we again want to continue our Quarkus Fun. This time on the roadmap, we want to talk about GitHub Actions. So I already pushed our current setup, our current repository to our company GitHub. But you actually don't need a company GitHub subscription or so. GitHub offers a lot of free build minutes for you. I think it's around 2,000 that you get even for private repositories per month. So let's jump right into it. A good starting point for setting up such a pipeline is actually just going to the Actions tab. And then you have a lot of configuration options already for basically everything you could ever wish for. So we use Gradle in our project, as you know. So we want to use Java with Gradle. So let's just start with that. This file will then be created in our repository under .github workflows, and then we can name it however we want. Yeah, so I think let's call it GitHub Actions pipeline.
So normally I would name it like the job it is doing. So
yeah,
for example, I don't know, PR pipeline or testing or yeah. Oh, resubscription.
Yeah.
So half the white, the fourth month in a row. Thank you.
Cool, thanks. Yeah, let's call it test and build because that's what we were gonna do with it. So this disclaimer up there is there because I think these jobs are not directly maintained by GitHub. There are a lot of custom actions. So yeah, they put a disclaimer in there. But if we have a look at this file, so you can name this however you want. Yeah, Quarkus build CI. It's just a name that you will later see. So if you have multiple build jobs, then you can better differentiate. So at the moment we want to run it when something is pushed to the main branch or a pull request is made against the main branch. We currently only have one branch, so I think that's fine for now. This pipeline here will have the permission to read the contents of the repository. And then we can define jobs. At the moment, there's only one job defined. This is a build job, but this is also, again, just a name. We run on an Ubuntu latest version. You can also specify a version if you want, but I'm not gonna bother with that now. And then you can define the steps of this pipeline. Again, you can also define like a nice human readable way, something like build and push. Because this year you cannot add spaces or so. It's a YAML thing.
So basically the name is the name which GitHub will show when the action is running.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then you can define different steps. The first step here is it uses the actions checkout. So this is a predefined action from GitHub.
So basically it gets the content of the repository.
Yeah, exactly. So you can also Google them. They have repositories. And you can also see all the commands that you could give here So if you would want to clone a different repository, you could specify SSH key and so on. So there's a lot. Yeah, also you can define the fetch depth. The default is 1. So only the latest changes are fetched, not like the whole history, because usually you don't need the whole history if you want to just build it. This makes it faster as it only needs to fetch the current status of the repository. Yeah, so this is a predefined thing from GitHub. You can even click here to add it to your pipeline. So there's a lot of integration for these things. Where was I? Here. So first we check out the code. Then we use this action, which sets up Java. And we want the Java 11. They now have this by default. I'm gonna use an adopt JDK, but there's a set of JDKs that you can use. Let's have a look.
So basically on github.com/actions, you can have a look at all the actions.
Yes,
all
at least the GitHub predefined ones.
Okay.
There's a marketplace with a lot of them,
Okay.
where you can also contribute your own. And then the repository might be somewhere different, but this is standard stuff that they always have. Yeah, here you can see which ones are there, different builds and so on.
Okay.
Yes, so we're gonna use that one. And we want to build with Gradle. And yeah, basically this runs Gradle build. Here they have now this very long commit as a version. But there's also a simpler version. So if you want to have a really reproducible build, you should always use like the exact git commit. Then you will use the exact same version every time. But if you, we don't care so much about it.
So without this, it would use the head or the latest version.
Probably. Yeah, now it will use the latest V2 version, which I prefer most of the time.
Okay.
Also, for example, for the base image, when you build a container for the base image, I prefer to use some version. So I'm not saying totally latest, but if it's a version 3.5, then I'm okay to get newest patch versions because I want the newest security updates and so on. And normally they shouldn't break anything.
Okay.
So I prefer getting the newest version automatically. But this depends on your use case. Yeah, so I think this looks like we could start with that.
So that's the basic one.
That's the basic pipeline. We're just gonna do a Gradle build basically.
Okay.
So if we go to our project, it should be something like Gradle build. So equivalent to this. This even runs the tests in Gradle.
Okay.
So yeah, we can just test this, commit it here.
So currently you have the version you have locally is also pushed to the repository right now. So you are on the same.
We are on the same page, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna directly commit to the main branch now.
So now we are committing the configuration file for the action.
Yes. So the file that we just saw is now in our repository. If you go here.
So from now on, it will trigger this configuration.
Yes. Whenever you change something on these branches, or the main branch that we configured. So if you go in here, you see it. You even see that for this commit, the pipeline is currently running. And has already failed. Okay. Awesome. Let's have a look.
It's not executable.
So This is a typical Windows issue. The Windows file system doesn't have an executable flag,
Okay.
but the Linux file system does have. Yeah, it make file executable. This is something I regularly Google. I mean, it's easy, but I still forget it. So now we can just go to our repository. We can first pull the latest changes. We're gonna do this. So I now also have the GitHub directory here. And we can now update the index and make the Gradle W script executable. You see it's blue, so we have something changed. So I'm gonna commit this.
So commit and push, and then the action should be triggered.
Yeah.
And hopefully without failure.
Yes. Commit and push. Let's see. Here's the newest commit. Make it executable. We go here to the actions. We see it also with the commit message. You see also this Quarkus build CI. This was the name of the whole pipeline, or the whole file. And in here we have
running.
We have the job, the build and push. And if we click on it, we even see the steps. So it did set up the job. It did check out. You can also look at the details here. Sets up the JDK. You can see the version here. And now it's building or starting the build. Usually we should see the logs when it's then running.
Yeah, I think you can see the logs if the first log message
appeared.
Yeah. So let's wait.
We need some elevator music for these moments.
Or Jeopardy.
So this is now the first time that we run this. So it also had to first pull all the dependencies and so on. So it took a bit longer. But the nice thing about this is, so you see here the build with Gradle job, but there's automatically also a post build with Gradle job added.
Yeah.
And this one will do the caching for us.
Okay, so it will automatically cache the dependencies?
Yes.
For reusing it the next time?
Yes. So here you see now caching Gradle state and so on.
Red is not so good.
Red is not so good. Okay. So it actually did something. It did compile and so on, and then
tests are failing.
The tests are failing. Yeah. So let's let's have a look. We can do one thing. We could separate testing and building, because then we can later easily see, the build failed,
or the test.
or the tests failed, and so on. So this makes it easier to see.
So basically just separate it in 2 steps.
Yes, exactly. So we're gonna add an assemble task here. Assemble only builds it with Gradle.
The next one is then probably test.
Yeah, check.
Or check, okay.
Yeah, you can also run test, but I think check runs even more stuff. Yeah, so that's it already. Gonna commit it. Test. Or it's opening the wrong window. So split build and test, the action again. Maybe you can have a look here again quickly. So it took us 1 minute 33 seconds. Let's hope that it's this time a bit faster.
It depends if the post action was executed.
I think it was executed.
Also, if the step before fails?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe not,
yeah,
because nothing was up to date.
It's faster. 1 minute less for the first step.
So now we see the sample worked,
Mm-hmm.
compilation worked, and you see here that the process resources, generate code, compiled, Kotlin was then done, but these have been up to date.
Mm-hmm.
So you see that it reuses the stuff that's coming from the sample task. So it's not doing the compilation twice. So you can really build it step by step on top of each other to see when it fails.
Oh, failing test.
Test not found exception.
So the question is, this test should also fail then locally, right? Or
yes, but no. I actually tried this out before, but so I know what's wrong.
Okay.
But if you want to find out, a good thing is to add the --i info.
Mm-hmm.
You can even add --, stack trace, which adds even more details, but that's probably overblown. So let's have a look here.
So you can basically set a log level here.
Yes, exactly. So because at the moment this is, test not found exception. Why should the test not be found? But I mean, I would say this is a bad
isn't our
erroneous.
test called test not found? No, not found exception.
Yeah,
it's the name of the test, right?
Right.
It's not what happens, it's the name of our test.
You're right.
So basically the test is failing because...
A deployment exception.
Okay.
So if you remember, we start an actual Quarkus for our tests. If we do Quarkus tests, and this was one, not just the unit test. And to start it, it tries to deploy it. Okay. And that's why we get a deployment exception. Deployment exception usually means that something during startup failed. Here's a hint. The config might be an issue. So
we missed something or forget something.
Yeah. Okay. So you see we get some more output here.
Okay.
So here you see the logging of Quarkus during startup now. This looks like...
It's reloading the page. Nice.
Now I have to scroll.
Standard error.
Yeah, so here it looks like startup. Yeah. And then Postgres exception. So if you remember, we have a Postgres.
We have a database, yeah.
Locally, I have it running.
And the action doesn't start the database, or?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't tell it to do so.
So, okay, it's a separate command. It's not included in the Cradle stuff.
Either you could do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Or with Quarkus, you can start test containers. And actually, that's what we want to do.
Okay. So I would have assumed that the Cradle stuff also starts the database stuff and so on. So, but before it was all every time a manual command you did on your local machine.
Yeah, before I had my database running because we always used it when we started the application. So that's why it always worked.
Okay.
So where was it? test containers. So no. Let's have a look. Awesome. Okay, then we're gonna resolve to so I don't remember exactly what was the condition, but if you specify the database details here, then it doesn't use the test containers.
Okay.
So let's.
So we need different properties, or how do we do that?
Yeah, I wonder if we can do it like this. I did not try that before. It's a new idea. So let's see. Because this would hopefully override these variables and unset them basically when we run tests. Let's try it.
And with the percentage test, you say only in the tests.
Yes.
Okay.
We should see it when it. Probably we don't see it because
Test completed. Build fact.
Awesome.
But at least we get the same error message.
Yeah. Not exactly, but maybe this is
test not found except. Okay.
Yeah, that's the test that failed.
Yeah, right.
Let me have a look at my cheat sheet. Okay. Let's test this later. What we can also do is we can say we only want to use this for prod. This is a bit bad because then it won't work for dev. But we can fix this later. Let's first see how this works. So as I said, the test containers are used if you don't specify it. And yeah.
So now we are just committing that change. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Because we can't.
Yeah, I did it off screen. To not have another window popping up, but yeah. Okay. So hopefully this time we get one step further. I think there's a bot that you need to remove in the chat.
Let me check. Where's the button? Where's the button? Found it.
Awesome.
I hope it worked.
Otherwise, Jonas can also handle it.
Oh, nice. My webcam has stopped working. It's the same.
Oh no.
Yeah, I love it. So now, Jonas, if you are here, what did you do in the last stream when that happened? Every time a new issue, I like it.
Same here.
This never happened before. That's not true, I think. I reconnected.
Yeah, this happened
reconnected before. the camera. Oh, okay. let's hope that I don't
Pull
pull
the
the wrong
wrong-
cable.
So
Okay, just
yeah. Meantime, we have a look at this error message. So what?
stream. Bye bye. Hopefully it.
So
Okay,
what we can
stream is
see
still there.
here,
That's right.
good thing the test container was actually pulled. So at least that seems to have worked. So what was the error that you're complaining about? Test boot failure. Come on.
Okay, nice.
Caused
Doesn't work.
by fail to load config values string for okay. So it tells us that the config value movies db API key is missing. And if we have a look here in our config in the application properties, we specify this file, this key. Also, where we use it, we specify that it has to be there.
Okay, it's not working. So
Awesome.
now I'm only a voice.
At least something.
Yeah.
Let's wait until the mic stops.
Hopefully not. So just wait.
So we specified the API key and that it's required, and we didn't specify that it's there. So we need to do that. And we can do this by specifying environment variables. And we do this with so this, and how did we call it? MovieDB API. So, and now we can access secrets.
Okay.
And these secrets we can define. So usually you have some.
Moritz just posted.
No.
The secret.
I don't paste the secret. At least I try to.
Yeah, we are good. We practiced it.
So if we go to the repository, here in the settings, you can here secrets and then actions. You see I already prepared this, that I don't have to paste the secret here. You can create up here a new secret. You can create it either for this repository, or you can create it for the organization.
Oh, okay.
So maybe in your organization, you have a cluster that you always use, so you could deploy or define the cluster stuff here.
Or for a specific environment.
Or for a specific environment.
Okay, nice.
And you can also define environment variables which are not secured.
Okay.
The thing about secrets is they are also X'd out when you you lock them also. So GitHub Actions already checks that and filters them out so that you don't leak them. And it's also, for example, if you have a public repository where people can contribute, they also cannot contribute. You could think they can contribute a change to the pipeline where they print secret.
Yeah.
But when they try to do that, it's X'd out. So they try to protect this stuff.
So basically it's safe. So the action removes everything in the secret stuff. So,
yeah.
Nice.
So we have defined this here, and we can now access it by referencing it from the secrets. And we define it as an environment variable for this specific job. We could also define it further up here for the whole pipeline, but we only need it in this job, so I will only specify it here. Then let's commit again. And and see what's happening. Actions. Next try.
Yeah, that's basically every time the same when you add the GitHub action or pipeline on Azure or
wherever
it doesn't matter which platform you use. It's every time the same. You configure something, you try it, it fails, and so on.
Yeah. The good thing is the GitHub pipeline, they actually run really fast.
Yeah, luckily.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't used them in a project for a longer time, so I don't know how consistent they are.
Yeah.
I know from Azure DevOps that they sometimes are very inconsistent and a job that usually runs 5 minutes can also sometimes run 30 minutes.
Yeah, on Azure it depends which runner you use, if it's a shared one or if you have a local one and stuff like that. So that could be different on every runner.
So we see again, it pulls the image for the test container.
Okay.
So basically a database container, and starts it up. And we have build success.
The webcam isn't working anymore. I tried it now several times.
Yeah, then you will have to watch the next stream to see Timo again.
Yeah.
That's our cliffhanger. Will Timo appear next time? So we have a green build. Awesome. We are done. No, not really. We can now have a look what we can improve, what we can also do. So usually we now have sampled it, we have done it, we run the checks or the tests. Now let's also deploy it to GitHub as a container, or build a container first, maybe. Maybe first build a container. So for building containers with Quarkus, I can really recommend this feature here, the Quarkus container images. So these are a set of dependencies that you can add to your Quarkus project. And I usually go with Chip because that's just super nice. You don't even need Docker to build the container, which is perfect for CI building, because when you need Docker, for example, in GitLab, then you need Docker in Docker and some stuff. So that's always getting messy. But with this, you don't even need a Docker container, and it's really fast. So we need this extension here. We are going to add it. So if they say the extension is like this, if you add it like this, you can do this, then it adds it for you, but you can also just add the Quarkus prefix and add it manually. So now we have already the capabilities to build containers. You can now specify also some parameters. Here, for example, the group, the name of the image, the tag, additional tags if you want to push it for multiple tags. So maybe you want the newest container to be pushed as latest, but also with the git char or even something else. So you can add just more tags here to this property. You can specify the registry, the username. Alternatively to all these, you can also just specify this as one path containing everything. Yeah, if it should use SSL or not, you need to specify build and or push if you want to build it or push it. Yeah, and that's basically it. So let's try this. So what we need to do is what we can do. This also belongs there. Let's add this here. We just add these properties here. We can do something like com or consus. Image name is movie time BFF and tag. Let's go with latest. So we now do Gradle build and specify this with -d. You can, oh yeah, that's super readable. That's -d.
Okay.
And now you can specify a parameter that you hand over to Quarkus. And this should now already build a container locally.
So, and if that works, then you will add this command to the action, but it doesn't.
Oh. Okay. No idea why that happened. Really no idea. But let's just try it on GitHub Actions.
So just commit this and push it.
Yeah, we also need to do.
We have to add an additional step.
Yeah,
right?
we have to add a step. We can use this one as a basis. Assemble. No, not assemble. Build
image
container.
or container.
So we do build. No. So we built the container. This should...
There without space.
Yes. Usually it's without space. I have no idea. I just found out before that with the PowerShell, it didn't work without space.
Okay.
And it did work with space. No idea why the PowerShell is different there, but yeah, it's PowerShell, so always a bit different. Cool. I think we can delete this. So actually an out of memory. Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we did is add this task here. We added the dependency and we added this config here. So add chip and so let's see. Moritz, are you sponsored by Gitkraken or so?
Maybe.
Do we get a discount for advertisement? Not yet.
Not yet. Hint. So the sample should be fast now, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't take too long, I would say.
He's working on it.
Okay, it's longer because we changed the code and the dependencies.
Okay.
So we actually had to rebuild it.
Okay, then about 1.5 minutes.
Yeah, it was 40 seconds.
Okay.
We added one dependency.
And then he just builds that one dependency thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I still want to get a switch from their promos.
You want to what?
I don't know what he's talking about.
Did they offer a Switch promotion?
For the game console or what?
I guess. Why is auto scroll broken? Okay, container building. You see here everything up to date. Tesla's up to date. So when Gradle says it's up to date, then it doesn't do anything. And it fails. Test not found. What? Why?
Is it running the tests? Looks like.
Yeah. Okay, we don't want to run the tests again. Keep tests. -x tests.
Let's try it.
Let's try.
Or maybe someone in chat knows if that's correct, then.
I mean,
right, but yeah, it looks. Hopefully it works. Looks good. Yeah, half so wild. We used it so many times before, right?
Yeah. When the expert knows it, then you know you're safe.
As far as I can tell, yeah.
I mean, the naming looks promising. Like exclude tests, so it could be true. Could be true.
I like the chat.
I mean, that's always the thing with building pipelines. You will sit there and wait.
Oh, and the auto scrolling is working.
Yeah, awesome. But now I'm bored because I don't have to scroll all the time.
Successfully started. No, we are not in the build container step.
I will remove the info again because it's just too much logging.
Moritz says, didn't you remove the info flag?
I removed the info flag just now.
So it's not committed?
No, it's not committed.
So it's okay that the pipeline
it is spamming logs.
The info stuff.
Okay. So now you see it's pulling a base image. This is the base image for the Quarkus build. You can also specify that for the chip stuff, but JDK 11 is okay for us. And it worked.
Completed job.
Awesome. Suppose. So, yeah, it built an image. That's awesome. So now, I don't know if you know, but GitHub even offers a Docker registry for free where you can push this stuff. So what we want to do...
So just for explanation, because I don't know if everybody knows in chat what a registry is.
Okay. Yeah, so we have now built this container which contains our project, and whenever we start up this container, our project will run, our code will run. This makes it totally easy to run it on any machine. There only needs to be some container environment that can run containers. And it then doesn't depend what's in the container, because everything it needs, it's also included in there. That's the fun part about containers. And now we want to to move the container to somewhere where we can later get it again.
Okay.
And that is a registry where you can push it and you can have multiple versions and so on.
So you basically push it to a storage
Yes,
where you can download it later on.
yes, exactly. Okay. So to push it, we can push container, and we want to push it now.
Moritz asks, it is private? Is it private or can anyone use it?
By default, the pushed images are private. If I have read this before correctly. Let's have a look. GitHub container. So GitHub is available, so you see it's available to your free account and so on. It currently supports okay. Pushing. When you first publish a package, the default visibility is private. To change the visibility, you can configure the package access.
Okay.
Probably in your repository.
So if you just push it, then it's private only for you or your organization or anybody who has access to that repository.
Yeah. So let's see later if it's already public because our repository is public.
Okay. And maybe.
Or if we also have to enable it. But yeah, let's have a look. But I mean, what GitHub is offering here is just amazing. First of all, you get like 2,000 minutes of build power a month, and you see it's for free.
Yeah.
As a non-paying user, and I think for open source projects it's even more or open. And you get a Docker registry and so on. So it's just an amazing feature set. Okay.
And for small private projects or side project, it's totally enough.
2,000 minutes. That's over 3 hours. Yeah. Or no, 2,000 minutes.
2,000 minutes is a little bit more.
That's a little bit more. It's like too much math.
So
it's
basically,
like over 30 hours.
That's
crazy. So, every day you can run an hour of jobs.
If you use it, the build minutes depends on the operating system you run the action.
Yeah,
I think
so. I saw something.
I think you said before when you use Macs. So basically, when you want to build iOS apps or something like that, then it's less minutes.
Yeah. So you get a storage for 500 megabytes
and 2,000
minutes per month.
Okay.
Per month, yeah. And here is a multiplier. So if it's Linux you use as the base image, then the multiplier is
2,000. So macOS it's 10 times, so 200.
200 minutes you would then have, yes.
And for Windows it's 1,000.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
And if you want more,
then that's what you have to pay.
Yeah.
When you exceed the limit, the free limit.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's really nice that you just get this. Okay, we want to push the container. So first of all, we need to let chip know that we want to push. And then we need to specify some parameters, or we need to even add another step for that. I prepared that already, so I can explain. So we need to sign into the GitHub container registry. and the act and provide some variables. So the registry is reachable under this domain. The GitHub .actor, if we have a look at this contexts, so there are multiple contexts, there's GitHub and there's also secrets and so on. And if we go github.actor, the username of the user that initiated the workflow. So I'm signing now into my user. It worked before. I tested it on my private account, but let's see. But I think it should work. So I sign in as myself. GitHub token is a variable they define. It's always there.
So it's automatically defined by GitHub.
Yeah, and you can define which permissions this token should have. So before we were only able to read
the content of the
repository.
Yeah.
Now we also want to push packages.
Okay. So if we don't define that permission, then
you get some "you are not allowed to do this" error. So we sign in. We also want to sign out afterwards in the post job again. Then we want to push the container. And for this, we also need to specify the correct image name and path and registry. Because...
And we probably need other action, right? Or is it?
No, it's still...
Cradle build action?
Okay. Because chip is doing all of that for us.
Because it's a Cradle command.
Yeah, because we have this chip dependency added, and then we can do it via Cradle, and we don't even need to have Docker installed.
Okay. So that's why we use the Cradle build action.
Yeah, because it's basically doing something like this.
Okay.
Okay, so what we need to do is we don't want to run the tests again. We did that already. We want to push. We need to say, this is defined by GitHub, that the group is the repository owner.
Okay.
And the container image name we now define as the name of the repository.
So these are basically predefined variables from GitHub.
Yeah, you can even change this name here. That is possible.
So I could use a static string, for example, if I want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you can add something here.
Okay.
Like I tested before.
Okay.
And also you will need to specify the registry to which we want to push it. So again, this is the GitHub container registry. That's where the name is coming from. So I hope this will work. Let's see. Try to push to...
Oh, we have really bad weather outside.
Oh yeah. They said it will be coming, but okay, some processes. This is logging it. Sorry guys. So my Git Kraken died because of reading a super huge file, and I couldn't delete it because it tried to open it. Try.
But what would Stream be without problems?
Yeah, I mean, that's also normal developer life.
Oh, but the cam is a weird thing. I don't know why it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
And we had it twice now.
That's the second time, yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to investigate what the problem is here, because so it just stops working, so it's a little bit weird.
Not so nice. So let's see.
I use the overhead now, yeah. I think the stream is over till I have set up it. So
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think we just stay like it is now. So I'm the voice.
he's the voice
Yeah.
from the off, and you will see him again when you
I could
when you
activate
watch the
my
next
frozen
stream.
image. So here we go.
No. The people have to come back
Okay.
to see the next stream, and then they will be able to see you again.
Yeah. While talking about the next stream, so next Friday there will probably be no stream. So
Okay. Yeah, it's a bridge day.
yeah, the next Friday stream would be in 2 weeks, I guess.
Yeah. And then probably me again.
Yeah, let's see.
Okay.
No, probably not in 2 weeks because you
Right, in
aren't
2
here.
weeks I'm not here,
Yeah.
but
So
Moritz,
but I think Moritz will do backend stuff.
yeah, Moritz will do backend stuff.
So
Cool.
yeah, let's see.
Swift Vapor? Is it Vapor?
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, it should be
I think
Vapor.
it's Vapor.
So
Yeah.
if you're interested in backend stuff with Swift, then
Server-side Swift.
tune in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm really curious how the front end guy will be in the backend.
Yeah. Maybe it's better than Quarkus.
No. I can tell you that much about having seen it. He will be a king. I'm pretty sure about that. Because he always is. So we signed into the container registry, login succeeded, that's good.
Okay, now it's trying to push.
Fingers crossed.
Building. Build successful.
Whoa. Let's see. Now, here. Whoa, we have a package.
Okay, now we see it as package here. Okay.
Yeah, it's in this category. You can put in everything here.
Okay.
You can build like Swift packages or packages for Node, or they support almost everything.
Okay.
So we have latest. If you want to pull it, you can pull it like this.
If you have the permission.
If you have the permission. Now, maybe somebody of you can try. Because yeah, that's just our README, and that's just a Quarkus generated README. Maybe we can. Let's try.
Error.
Yeah, probably I first need to sign in.
Okay.
I won't do that now.
Yeah.
Especially not on stream.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe not the best idea to do that.
Yeah.
So,
but what you can see here, we have now one tag. We tagged it with latest.
Yeah.
So when we run the next job, it will override this tag.
So you basically could add 2 tags, so one with the version and one with latest, and move the latest every time to the newest version or something like that.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's what we can do with this.
Additional tags. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw that before.
We add the additional tags, what we discussed before, and with this variable, you can get the commit char. The full-blown.
Or you could define a version number or something like that.
If you can also do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we have Gradle here, so I probably also could read somehow this version here and write it there.
Okay.
Let's first commit this before we try something weird. Never really get a version.
Okay, Moritz gets a connection refused.
Ah, good. Oh.
So per default, it looks like that it's private.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I would need to check how you can get the version of the app, but it is probably somehow possible. At least what you can do, I mean, we now have a very simple pipeline. We only run it for one branch or for pull requests against this branch. You could also say at a next step and only run it for tags, for example. And when you have a tag, then you could use the tag as the image tag.
Oh, okay.
And use that then. Yeah, but let's have a look. Action. But that's the basic setup now. We have our Docker image in the registry, and we could then later use it to deploy it somewhere.
Yeah.
There's creating. How can we package access control and visibility? Visibility.
Configuring access to container for your personal account.
Set for and select.
You can invite people.
You have admin permission. Is it in here? Box branches.
So probably we will look this up for next time.
Package settings.
Okay.
Awesome. So this is repository, code space access, inherit access. Okay. Change package visibility. Package is currently private.
So basically, I think you have to add stuff here. So
setting is disabled by organization. No, okay.
Okay, we have to look it up for next time.
So it looks like our organization bits making packages publicly available. Yeah. But for example, we could add the rest of the company here.
So normally, if you have a personal account, you have the right to add or to change the permissions here.
Yeah.
So because it's the company account, or
yeah.
So
now
it's not allowed.
We have here latest with the commit jar, and if we just for testing's sake add a dummy test here. So just to trigger the pipeline again and to have a different commit. If I just rerun it, it will override it because it's still the same.
Yeah, it's the same
tag. Yeah. But now this is a different tag. Also, if you look here, it's like 2 minutes 33 seconds at the moment to build it. That's, I think, okay.
Yep.
For getting it for free.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then I think that's it for today, or?
Yeah. I mean, we can.
So basically, later on, we could say, okay, we add additional steps or to deploy this image to our backend so we can access it from the iOS app, for example.
Yeah.
Or something like that. But I think we will do that in a future stream.
Yeah, that's the plan. To have a look at hopefully deploying it to a Kubernetes cluster.
Okay.
That will be a bigger topic.
Okay.
Because then we can also get into Helm charts, which I like to deploy such stuff. Makes it really easy if you once you have it set up. Before that, it's a bit much to get in your head. So probably it's not be done. We won't do it in one stream.
Okay.
but it's a nice thing. And if we have that, then we basically have a pipeline. When we merge something to main or push something there, then the pipeline runs, it pushes it, builds container, pushes it, deploys it in the cluster, and then it's fully automated. And
we can use the latest version for the IO stream then.
Yes,
So to
yes.
implement a new feature.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So yeah. Then chat, any questions so far? Otherwise, we will wait till this job is done. And yeah, maybe Cam's still not working. Yes, Cam's still not working. And okay, so we saw it's completed. We have a new version here.
We have a new latest,
Yeah.
published a minute ago and
Yeah.
published 4
Okay.
minutes ago.
Working right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would say that's it for today. And next week, as we said before, on Friday, no stream, but on Wednesday, there should be a game development stream with Tommy and Jonas.
Yeah, cool.
And yeah, if no other questions are in chat, then we wish you a nice weekend and we see you next week.
Yeah, have a nice weekend as always and see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.